Welcome to Balancing Act, the show where we explore strategies, challenges, and breakthroughs that help business owners build profitable, resilient companies. I'm Linda Hamilton, your host, a CPA, certified exit planning advisor, and a certified systemologist. Running a business is not just about hard work. It's about strategy for managed growth and profitability, and for building a business that, for the long term, supports your life and not the other way around. And today we have with us Bob Nienaber. He has CHFC RICP, a lot of letters after his name. He's co-founder of BenefitRFP, an award-winning author and trusted advisor to boards and executives. Many business owners know they need to attract and retain talent, top talent, but executive benefits are often misunderstood. And Bob helps companies design strategies that protect leaders and their organizations. So Bob, you've been doing this, working in this industry for a long time, since maybe 2009. How have benefits evolved over that time? I only see them from the tax side. So, I'm really interested on looking at it from the bigger picture.
Well, and actually I go back before 2009. I've been doing this for about 35 years. And when you think about executive benefits, what you're thinking about is how to put together a program that helps you recruit, retain, reward your top people. And at the end of the day, if you don't have a good team, you're not going to have a very powerful company. And so you really want to focus on that. What a lot of things, some of the things that have really changed over the past 20 years is these plans were usually just used for the benefit packages for public companies, very large companies. Now we see smaller companies that are doing a plan for one or two people because it's so competitive out there. They're looking for strategies to keep them tied in and locked into their company. And I like to use sports analogies. I'm a baseball fan, and you see the Yankees, whether you love them or hate them. Every year they put together a good team. They keep everybody locked in. They take care of their people. Teams, though, that don't do so well are teams that constantly are changing people, staff. They don't keep people locked in. The culture changes. Everything is kind of, crazy when you have people coming and going. And what a lot of companies don't realize is one of the largest costs you're going to have for executive payouts is when you either don't have a plan or you do a plan improperly, and there's no reason for people to stick around. So, we work with companies very, very closely, public, private, non-for-profit, it doesn't matter. We get in there and find out what the design strategy needs to be to make that company more successful with their folks they have, so they don't suffer the high cost of turnover.
Wow, that's I think that's so true, that there was a time it was only for big companies. And I'm a member of the Women Presidents Organization. So that's a national organization, and there's a lot, they are small companies. And if you look at the SBA definition of a small company, we're all small companies, but they do struggle with attracting talent and with keeping them, because people will jump ship easily. So you have to have a mix of culture as well as financial benefits, because it's not just about salary, right?
Right.
What would you say is the biggest misconception business owners have about executive benefit packages?
Well, their misconceptions are backed by years and years of poor planning, poor designs that have been put together. The perception is that if I put together a plan, it's just going to be a lot of money coming out of the corporate pockets, and I might not have that. I might be a growth company. I might be a Silicon Valley company, or now with AI growing, we're seeing a lot of AI companies come to us to put together packages to keep their companies culture the same, to really grow on what their long-term growth is going to be, but also how to keep these people happy on the short term. But when a plan is done properly and funded properly, the plan will actually produce a profit for the company. So it's not really a cost, it's a profit for the company. Also, from a cash flow standpoint, because of most non-qualified plans have a missed current deduction that goes into play. But when you play these out and you really understand it, the cash flow related to building out these plans is much cheaper than paying them the old-fashioned way by giving them a bonus, giving them stock, and then dealing with the long-term ill effects that sometimes has. And so, the first thing that we always tell people, and we give this as a guarantee, that these plans will produce a profit for the company. CFOs love that. Their tax guidance loves that. Their treasury departments love that. But then also demonstrating for them before they even implement the plan, how to make sure these plans are going to reduce the cash flow necessary to pay these executives. And actually, when they build the profits into these, and when I'm talking about profits, a small plan will profit the company by several $1,000,000. A mid-sized company is going to present about a $5 to $7 million savings. And we show them how to take these dollars, put it back to other uses within the company. They might want to improve things like 401k plans for people that are at all levels with the company. Maybe they want to do something for the owners and shareholders. They can use those dollars for that. So they can use these excess dollars any way they can. So it really puts a company in a stronger financial position. And just from doing this for the past 35 years, I can tell you with my experience, I've seen a lot of great companies really growing like crazy, but they didn't implement a plan, and then later they fell apart. And so when you're thinking about these plans, you don't want to think too late in the game. You want to be upfront and early with them, so that you can lock in your best people and start building the culture that you want.
So there was a lot of information there. I want to unpack that a little bit and walk back. So one, when you're talking about designing a plan, that sounds like it's not a one size fits all for, the companies.
Right.
There are going to be some choices. What influences some of those choices?
Really, it's the demographics of the company. So I can take and line up all the Fortune 100 companies that we've worked with, and I can tell you all their plans are different because their goals are different, their settings are different, their diagnostics report different tax rates for the company. Some are in net operating losses because they're buying and growing and reinvesting dollars. All these things go into the conversation when you're designing a plan. With a non-qualified plan, one of the areas that makes it so exciting and so much fun to work with, and it should always be fun when you're talking about money, right? So, but one of the things that makes it really nice is a non-qualified plan. A 409A plan is the reg that these fall under. Really is an open architecture world for all these companies. And so they can get in and really specifically design these plans simply for their highly compensated executives. Their highly compensated executives need these plans because especially if you're working in a state like I'm in California, you don't get a lot of tax relief in California businesses, but these plans can actually provide parity around the country or around the world so that if you have folks living in tax-free areas or folks that are living in reduced tax areas or high tax areas like California, you can still take advantage and provide the same type of parity across the board for everybody in there. It's just based on plan design, how you want to have vesting be provided in these. Do you want to allow participants to defer up to 100% of their income or 100% of their bonus? Are you having a 401k testing issue? Are you being forced into safe harbor plans, which are really not very good at retaining people since you're giving out vested dollars right off the get-go? But if you take those highly compensated people out of that plan, or if you actually mirror them into those plans and provide both a non-qualified plan as well as a 401k or whatever your qualified benefit plan of choice is, you're going to make that plan and that participant feel much more successful because they're going to be able to set aside. And as you can guess, if you're making $500,000 and you want to put away 20-30% of your income because you're trying to do some catch up for retiring, you can't do that with a qualified plan because they have restrictions. But with a non-qualified plan, you have no restrictions.
Right.
So it's very favorable for the companies that utilize these plans.
So I just want to briefly say for those listening who don't know what the difference is between a qualified and non-qualified plan, right? Which has something to do with whether it's taxation and whether or not how much they can put in for their employees. Can you just give us a brief differential about that?
Sure. When you're dealing with qualified plans, they fall under ERISA rules, and you can't discriminate. You have limitations what you can put into the dollars. You have to pull that money out within certain periods of your lifetime. You really are in partnership with the government with a qualified plan. With a non-qualified plan, a lot of the ERISA rules are eased so that you can actually discriminate who you're putting in. So these plans are designed for the highly compensated folks because they are restricted against qualified plan limitations. And so at the end of the day, non-qualified plan, it's nothing illegal. It's not, you're not signing papers behind the building, that type of thing. These are simply plans that do not have to qualify for all the ERISA rules. So it gives you great flexibility from an employer standpoint and from a participant standpoint.
Great. And when you talked about that, the non-qualified and kind of large amounts we're discussing. So are there, is there a specific size, like how small a company in revenue could consider something like this? Is it 1 million, 2 million? I mean, some of the numbers you threw out were much larger.
Yeah, that's a great question, because these plans, when you're thinking about a non-qualified plan, you're really focused on your highly compensated individuals. And so let's say I'm in a company and we have 10 employees, and one of them is in a technology area for AI or for any tech firm. I can do a plan for one person. So it's really not company size that's going to make a big difference. As you go up in size, as a company becomes, a company that's doing $200 million of revenue on up, then you're going to see a much broader population that's going to be utilizing these plans. So for, a lot of the larger public companies, they use these as the number one benefit tools out there, because even if they don't want to give out stock, they can give out stock appreciation rights and make that participant feel as though they are sharing in stock. And you can treat these folks so that if I'm in a private company and I'm competing for top talent and I'm trying to figure out a way to get them away from a public company where they're used to giving stock and stock appreciation rights and RSUs and all these things, I can now compete. I don't have to worry about not being able at the same level.
And I think that's great information. We're going to take a break in a moment. How can people find out more about your company?
They can call if it's a CEO or senior exec. I always give out my direct phone number, 916-838-0866. And, we can talk through anything they want to design. I prefer to have those direct conversations with those folks, but also they can go out to our website, www.BenefitRFP.com. We're a simplicity company, so we've got 90 offices around the country, and this is what we focus on. So we've seen every type of plan that's out there and available.
And we're going to take a break now. Executive benefits aren't just about perks; they're about creating stability and financial safety for leaders and businesses. Stay with us, and when we come back, we're going to talk about building a culture of financial security for leaders. Stay with us.